Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's Thursday, the 28th of January.
Good morning. It's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Ivan Magwene.
And me, Yvette Shumbusho.
Over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports and business headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And as usual, Yvette has the latest in business. Yvette, what do you have for us in the world of money?
Well, today it's more regional. We're going to look at Kenya. There's a business, it's a business called Centum Investment, and it's willing to give $150,000 to eligible entrepreneurs. So I'll tell you more about that.
Entrepreneurship, now you're talking.
Yes.
What do you have for us?
I feel like that is so much in link with the hot topic that we just had yesterday.
Of course.
In lifestyle, we're going to be, today is Thursday, so we have movie review.
All right.
And the cult classic.
Okay,
Yes.
can't wait to hear that. Moses, Chan.
The biggest surprise of the tournament so far has happened. We were waiting. Airways Chan will have to bring a surprise. There was no doubt about it. And on Tuesday, we witnessed that surprise. Nigeria are crushed out of the tournament. Despite being the favorite, after beating Nigeria 4-1 in the first game, Nigeria was actually an impressive team. But guess what? Guinea fought hard to throw them out of the competition. I'll tell you how it happened and what was the reason in details very soon.
Quite a disappointing day for the Babatundes. Well, all that and more still to come, but first, Rise and Shine, story of the day. Welcome back to Rise and Shine, story of the day with me, Ivan Magwene. Well, today we have an interesting story that I need us to talk about. So once upon a time, the continent of Africa hosted the largest reservoir of varieties of unique traditions and rich literature. This sentence brings to me a nostalgic memory of the old stories told by our elders. At the end of each day, it was a custom that good stories had to come from the grannies or the grandpas. Although these stories had more about the message than facts, they tried to give reasons for things in life that the community could not really explain. It could be something serious like what happens when people die, or something less serious like how a leopard got his spots. However, the diminishing practice of all these among us gives us a considerable decline in the transformation of culture from one generation to another as an experience. African literature is seriously threatened by rapid rate of urbanization, large-scale migration, industrialization, and environmental change, globalization, and socio-economical change exert complex pressures on our rich cultural heritage. So today we open up the discussion. What is going on with African literature? Is it really dying out? Well, the question I think will leave us today wondering more on this same topic. Well, the reason why I wanted us to be engaged in this talk, first of all, is because number one, we do read a lot because, of course, that's part of our daily job. And number two is because African literature was part of our education.
Right.
Yes.
And to me, one part, of course, I enjoyed was African literature. So, but the question now remains. I want to give each one of you a question. But let me start with Sherry on this question. Now, Sherry, back in the days when you're still, for example, when you're still in high school.
By the way, I did literature in my advanced level.
Good, interesting then.
Yes.
So when we talk about African writers, for example, in this same generation, in our generation, tell me at least 3 people that come to your mind.
In this generation, none comes to my mind. None.
And Yvette, when I talk about a decade ago in African literature, tell me two men that came, two people that come to your mind.
A decade ago. So we're talking about, oh, but that's soon. That was like 2006.
Yeah.
I can't think of any in 2006. What, like one I read in 2006?
Read, yes.
Wow, 2006, I was very young, so all I read was storybooks, but...
Maybe
No, can we move it forward?
Right,
yes, a bit.
Yeah, let's move it forward a bit
Right.
when we're in high school,
Right.
like the last few years of high school. The first one, obviously, that I remember till this day is Chinua Achebe and his many stories and books that he wrote on actually in Nigeria and about their stories. So that's one that I'm very fond of and I know very well.
All right, now bringing it, of course, now to the discussion, which was the main topic that I wanted us to get your opinion on. The question would be, do you actually think African literature is dying out? I would start maybe with Moses, and then we can move on.
Definitely, yes. Why? Because back in the days, we had people like Gungi wa Thiong'o, a Kenyan person who even won a Nobel Prize, right? And because of his literature, because of the way he could bring what he thinks Africa can achieve, what he thinks people should know about African culture, and the way he could engage it with the youth and also elders. And the way you made an introduction is very amazing, because we could hear stories with grandpa and grannies to tell us something serious, something not serious, but that could engage us. This time around, because of what is happening around the world, people are no longer being able to sit with their parents and have a long time to sit and talk what happened back in the days. And that is actually what is maybe also discouraging the writers, that if I write my book, if I write the stories about the Africa and stuff, who is going to take that time to read it? Because people are more focused on entrepreneurship, internet-based thing, to what can I do through internet and social media and stuff. But now having time to read about your culture, it's becoming tough, especially in Africa.
Right.
We are actually more focused to know about the West and America and other countries, but we are forgetting about exactly about ourselves in Africa. So one way or another, it's discouraging the writers, but also I think this is something that institutions, educational institutions should focus much more on this, because otherwise we will lose our culture and it's going to be directed toward the West, and we lose a lot.
All right, we'll lose a lot. Now, we'll bring on the discussion to you, Sherry. On your own opinion, what do you think actually is happening to the African literature? And if there is a problem, what do you think is causing that problem? And what could be one of the ways you think that problem could be solved?
Right. When you say African literature, I want to understand, okay, growing up reading books like Things Fall Apart, Going Down River Road, and all those other material, you know, what it had, the content that it had a lot was about African culture.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that we have run out of writers. It only means that we have run out of the content that we grew up to. For example, I'll give you, there's so many writers these days, there are actually very many, but they have blogs. Nobody has gone that extra mile to have printouts and all that, because it's very costly, and you're not so sure if it's going to be published, or you're not so sure how successful it's going to be. So people have come up, especially with technology and how rapid it's growing, people have come up with blogs. But that doesn't mean that we have run out of writers. It doesn't mean that we have run out of writers. Actually, there are plenty. But I feel like what we have run out of is the content that we grew up to. And that doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just that we're in a different world. And what we are learning is different from what we grew up learning. Maybe like when I was in high school, what I grew up reading is probably not the same books that people who are in high school right now are reading. The content has changed, the material has changed, because we have to move with the times. So I wouldn't entirely agree that we're out of writers, we're out of African literature. It's just the content that has changed.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're wrapping up this discussion. I would like to bring it to Yvette. Well, Sherry says we're running out of content. Would you say we're running out of content, yet there is so much we can talk about it within, the African literature?
Well, I feel like the pleasure we had to listening to stories and even writing stories, the excitement we used to have has died out.
Right.
That light has been blown off, that candle has been blown off. So what I would say is that probably, yes, the content is not there. Or actually, it must be there, but we're not interested.
Yeah.
We're not interested
right.
in learning and talking about our African tradition. Because why? One, I feel personally as well, as I feel like we know a lot of it. For example, in Rwanda, we feel like we know a lot of the stories that we've heard. But that's the thing. We need to go beyond Rwanda and go into these other different countries. I mean, in high school, we learned about people in Nigeria, in Kenya. And, you know, there are all these other different writers and other different countries that we can also learn from. So, yes, maybe the content might not be there. That is not something that we cannot say for sure, or it might be. But for sure, what I know is that the excitement and zeal we used to have has died out. And that light, the light of Africa in terms of literature is not there anymore.
I agree with that. It's been exhausted.
Okay.
So we're looking for new things to write about.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're looking out for new things to write about. Let those things be there. We want to see them also. Maybe let's open up this discussion and get different opinions. Well, those are our opinions, and I believe there's so much we can contribute on this topic because it's a very sensitive topic. Yeah. It's something that is going to affect our next generations, of course, to come on. If it's going to affect even our own children. So I leave up the discussion, open up to the audience, and you can talk about the discussion and tweet us at Rise and Shine Rwanda. There you heard it from all of us, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. Business stories are coming up next with Yvette Shumbusho.
The things that make you look outside the window and sigh. The ones that make your dreamy eyes look up to the sky and smile. Forget the miles between and smile at the sky. Like it held something precious that belonged to you. Like this little secret that makes you hold everything you love. Let your passion guide you. You can be sure you will touch the sky.
Business stories making headlines today. Last year, the government deployed business development advisors and entrepreneurship coordinators at district and sector levels. The move was geared at harmonizing export and investment promotion activities and industrial development. Francois Kanimba, the Minister for Trade and Industry, said that the advisors are in charge of the business centers, monitoring performance and industries, and supporting small and medium enterprises to boost their production potential. As a way of supporting the initiative, government is now looking to help to establish strong linkages with the private sector to promote investment at the district level. Mr. Kanimba also said that the move is expected to increase productivity across sectors and boost the country's export potential. And in regional news, a foundation run by Centum Investment has committed to invest about $5 million in startups in the next 3 years. Centum Foundation has announced that it plans to invest about $150,000 in each eligible startup, either through a convertible debt or equity. Budding entrepreneurs will be required to present their business ideas and highlight their competitive advantage, the ability of the team, its potential market size, and the potential impact of innovations. Centum Investment Chief Executive James Moria stated that entrepreneurship is part of Centum's DNA. Therefore, it only made sense to use the skills they have gained over time to build great businesses and enable entrepreneurship further. Also in regional news, Equity Bank has entered into an agreement with South African-based authentication firm Intersect to strengthen the security of its online and mobile phone-based services as it seeks to deepen its presence in digital banking. Under the agreement, Equity Bank will integrate intersects software that requires users to provide two means of identification from separate categories of credentials. Equity Bank, in a statement, said that the partnership will enable it to enhance its security on its mobile banking and mobile money transfer, e-commerce, call center, and in-branch interactions. It will use the digital certification and proprietary validation techniques to provide secure payment and banking services. Banks have also been seeking to transit from the traditional brick and mortar by embracing online and mobile banking to cut costs and also improve efficiency. You're now up to date with today's business headline. Moses Firinkuzira is coming up next with sports news.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine in Rwanda. Time now for your sport news. I am Moses Firinkuzira. Starting with the CHAN 2016 updates, as we witnessed the first shock of the competition, Nigeria crashed out while Tunisia and Guinea went into quarterfinals. Ibrahim Sori Sankonzi's goal at the stroke of halftime was enough to earn Guinea a quarterfinal spot at the expense of Africa's powerhouse Nigeria. In the ongoing Orange African Nation Championship CHAN in Rwanda, Nigeria, who started the day top of Group C, had been considered favorite by many, but a resilient Guinea side, who are CHAN debutant, played their hearts out, especially in the second half, to make it to the last 8. In the other Group C game, Tunisia thrashed Niger 5-0 to top up the Group C going into the knockout rounds. Saad Bougouil scored brace, while Ahmed Akaishi and Mohamed Ben Amol, as well as Esif Hichen, added 1 each. Now in English football, Liverpool went to the final of League Cup final after penalty shootout with a win against Stoke City on Tuesday. Liverpool won 6-5 on penalty shootout against Stoke City at the Anfield to reach the Capital One Cup final, as manager Jurgen Klopp assured his first season in charge would bring a trip to Wembley. Marko Arnautovic scored for Stoke to claw back Liverpool's 1-goal advantage from the first leg, but it was agony for Mark Hughes' side when it came to spot kick. John Walters, Glenn Whelan, Ibrahim Afellay, Zelan Shakiri, and Marco van Ginkel were all on target for Stoke, while Adam Lallana, Christian Benteke, Roberto Firmino, James Milner, and Lucas were successful for Liverpool before Allen settled matters to send Liverpool wheeled in celebration. Finally, on the follow-up of the Australian Open, Jonah Conta beat Zhang Shuai to reach Australian Open semi-finals. Britain's Joan Conta continued her remarkable Australian Open run with a straight-set win over China's Zhang Shuai in the quarterfinals. The unseeded 24-year-old won 6-4, 6-1 to become the first British woman to reach the Grand Slam semi-finals since Joe Doody made the US Open last fall in 1983. Conta ranked 47, will next face German 7th seed Angelique Kerber. The African Nation Championship CHAN 2016 is ongoing. Next was the first shock of the competition. In the last games of Group C, debutant Guinea beat giant Nigeria at Rubavu Stadium 1-0 to qualify for the quarterfinals. Tunisia thrashed Niger 5-0 to top the Group C with 7 points. Surprisingly, Nigeria are out of the competition despite being the favorites. Uganda and Mali are waiting on the wings. First, let's take a look at how the ambience was in Rubavu and Nyamirambo stadiums respectively on Tuesday.
Moses, first of all, I would say that it's quite a disappointment for the Babatundes and a very big disappointment for the Super Eagles.
Yep.
Part of what we were analyzing in the first games, as we are talking about for the same group, was that we gave a very clear chance for the Super Eagles to make it through to the quarterfinals. And they did a great job with their first game. I think they are the first team to ever hit the biggest goals when we first came to Chen.
Yep.
But right now, who of all teams could have expected for the Super Eagles to be out at this stage? What could have gone wrong?
Basically, this is an experience of the coach of Nigeria, Sunday Olse. You cannot tell me a team like Nigeria, a powerhouse, the team that won the Orange African Nation Championship in 2013. You cannot tell me that this same team has not, which won the first game 4-1, and they drew the second game in Tunisia, cannot manage to beat Guinea. Okay, well, a football is a football. Guinea played with their hearts out, as in the statement we just said. They played with their hearts out, but Nigeria could not actually capitalize on that, and that is an experience. The coach who is not very experienced enough to leave out the top scorer of the tournament, Chikatala, out of the team, the first 11, and again leave out the midfielder, Okogubere, who was the best linchpin between the midfielders and the strikers. And again, you know, we could not see earlier and a team, the right wing and the left winger could not do anything with the striker who actually went in to replace Chikatala. And again, on the defenders, how on earth you leave Eze Stefan, who is one of the best defenders Nigeria has right now, and again, leave out another defender who is also, another midfielder who is called Bartomeu. You know, you cannot leave those 4 key players out of the team when you are not guaranteed a top spot in a group stage.
Of course.
Not only the top spot, but you are not even guaranteed to go through. What do you expect? That is an experience, and that is something that I'm pretty sure that Sunday Odyssey is going to go back in Nigeria and explain this to
now,
the
of course, now bringing it now to the Tunisia game. Of course, this was quite an interesting game.
Yep.
Getting, I think, some of the biggest goals we've ever had, even in the chance so far in the competition.
Yep.
For now, 5-0 to Niger. I think Niger has suffered of all teams because
Of all teams.
I think so far they have a total of 9 goals beaten in total.
Not 9 goals, 10.
10.
Because they were beaten 4-1 first game, and they drew the second game with the Guinea. No, 9 actually, because the second game with Guinea was 0-0, so it's 9.
Now, this, of course, when Tunisia goes on to the next stage, it means something for the football fans.
Absolutely.
This is a very tactical team.
Yeah.
It's
the champions of 2011.
Of course.
So
very tactical, very powerful.
Yes.
At this stage, I think they're more powerful than ever. And after this win, I'm pretty sure they're aiming out for the cup.
But
what do you think now one needs to look out for in Tunisia? And what could have been the clear success of Tunisia to a 5-0 win on Niger?
It is very simple. In football, it's more than luxury. It's more of technical and tactical approach of the game. Tunisia knew very well that they had 2 points before they entered the competition. I mean, the final game. They needed to win, especially on a big margin of the game, of goal difference, because they knew Nigeria had a big goal difference. Because in this competition, before we look on goals, we see on one-on-one, head-to-head. They had drew with Nigeria, so they were safe on that. And they knew that Nigeria would beat Guinea. That's what they knew. What they did was to trash Niger so that they can top the group with goal difference. That's what was in their mind. And the manager of Tunisia put up 2 strikers, Akaishi and Ben Amol, the number 19, who actually is a very good linking play. It's as if when you look at the Amavubi team with Jacques Tuyisenge and Ernest Sugira, the way they combine. One misses a goal, another one scores. One passes, another one. You know, the arrow interchange in the box, you can't know who to hold because they're all powerful, they're all strong. So that's what they did. And on top of that, we saw a revitalized midfielder called Sad Bouguil, who scored 2 goals, very well taken goals. So for Tunisia, they're very powerful and very composed, and they know what they want, and they can't let their chances go. Especially when you are in a squad, in a group with Nigeria. You cannot let it go. You have to fight to the last minute. That's what they did, and that's the tool. They are very motivated to the next round. We don't know what will happen, but Tunisia is a team to look out.
I'll have to wrap it from there. Yep. We don't know exactly what will happen. Of course, things are getting up hotter and hotter, and we have, of course, Amavubi Stars versing Leopards from Congo on Saturday. And we can't wait, of course, to see the game. There you had it from Moses. And, of course, local and international news are coming up next. Don't go away.
The things that make you look outside the window and sigh. The ones that make your dreamy eyes look up to the sky and smile. Forget the miles between and smile at the sky. Like it held something precious that belonged to you. Like this little secret that makes you hold everything you love. Let your passion guide you. You can be sure you will touch the sky.
Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The Fund for the Support of Genocide Survivors, FARG, has launched a drive to raise Rwandan francs 27.7 billion for construction of new houses and rehabilitation of others for vulnerable genocide survivors ahead of the 22nd commemoration set for April. FARG officials said, considering the budget allocated to it every financial year, it could not solve the urgent need to support the most vulnerable survivors.
The Ombudsman has vowed to crack down on businesses that connive with the public servants to fraudulently win contracts. Alois Chanzaire sounded the warning while officiating at a half-day anti-corruption workshop in Kigali.
And in regional news, police in Senegal have detained 900 people as part of a security operation following militant attacks in Burkina Faso and Mali. The detentions, which were non-terror related, took place over the weekend in the capital Dakar. The assaults on a hotel in Mali and a hotel and restaurant in Burkina Faso, both claimed by Islamists, have raised security fears in the region.
And in international news, Donald Trump has said he will boycott the final Republican presidential debate before the Iowa caucuses. The unexpected move prompted his closest rival, Senator Ted Cruz, to challenge him to a one-on-one debate.
All right, there you had it. Of course, Trump was, as usual, things are getting hotter. By the way, could you be believing at this stage that even now with the Democratic debate going on, people are saying that Hillary Clinton might be taking this one?
Really?
And could we be seeing the first female American president?
You know, anything is possible. We saw the first black president in America, so anything is possible.
All right, now we move on to another segment we all wait for, of course. We take a look at what's happening in lifestyle and what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics with Sherry Uwase. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda, and I bring you the latest in lifestyle. My name is Sherry Uwase. Today is movie review. We have Concussion. First, let's take a look at the trailer.
I found a disease that no one has ever seen.
Based on the incredible true story.
Playing football can choke the brain.
Lee does not want to talk to you.
His discovery made him a target.
What do they want?
Your head on a spike.
Drop it, or they'll be doing your autopsy, Mr. Amalu.
Dr. Omalu.
But his courage
I have to keep going.
would not be broken.
This is bigger than they are.
Who are you?
Tell the truth.
Concussion.
Now, a bit about this movie is that it is a dramatic thriller, which is based on an incredible true story, David versus Goliath story of Dr. Bennett Omalu, the brilliant forensic neuropathologist who made the first discovery of CTE, a sports-related brain trauma, in a pro player and fought for the truth to be known. So basically, what this movie is about, it's about Will Smith. He is the lead character.
Yep.
And then we also have other characters in the movie.
Alec Baldwin.
Yes, Alec Baldwin. I think it's a good play. It's a very nice, and the plot is put very well. So basically, what happens is Will Smith is a doctor, and then he discovers a disease that one of the players had, and he wants to go out and speak about the truth about it, because so many people don't want this truth to come out.
Yeah.
Because it's what the players used to have because of playing professional football, and that's not soccer.
Basically, in sports, to be a professional player in any sport, for NFL, it's a different story because there's a lot of energy to be used. And having that kind of disease in your brain sometimes will make you take wrong decision at a time, and also you can also die at any time.
Of course.
And for Dr. Omelo, which is Will Smith trying to explain, to tell out the truth that players need to be treated. And you know, people who are governing the sport, you know, most of them don't want those truths to be out, especially because of their personal interest. Let's say a player is a key player in the team, and you are out there to tell the manager or the owner of the team that this specific player is not going to play because he has A, B, C, D, he needs to be treated. Yet he's the top, let's say a top scorer in the team, and he's out. There's a lot of things that involved in sport. There's betting, there's money, there's investment, there's so many things. So for a doctor, first thing first is the health of the player. He doesn't care what is the benefit you get as investor or people who are watching. But the health of a player is the key. And but for other people, because of other interests, they don't care about that. So they'll rather have that player play for that game because of the revenues he'll bring in, and then sold out, bring another one who can replace for the next time. That's for them. That's why the truth could not be out. But I loved the fact that Smith fought to an extent the truth could be revealed.
Okay. Yes.
Well, I think. Oh,
I mean, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll take it out.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I'm also looking out for in this movie, of course, is the emotional part of it. The mere fact that Will Smith, of course, Dr. Omalu, is able to go against the NFL. NFL has one of the most powerful people. So going against, the NFL. So I think the whole drama around the movie will also basically focus on him fighting for his truth to be out there, and him fighting against very powerful men. I think this is something that people should be looking out for in the movie. And of course, as a family man, I saw the trailer, so I'm trying to figure it out in my head because I see the Dr. Omalu next to his wife. So, I mean, there's that emotional part where you have to fight again for the truth. And again, you know, when you're fighting for such kind of, like it's almost like a freedom fighter. Somebody gets hurt in the process, especially the people that get most hurt are the family. So the family gets hurt. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an emotional kind of movie that is going to bring the chemistry of the freedom fighting of Dr. Omalu, and also the emotional part, what he deals with even with the family. So it's something that I'm also looking up for. And of course, it's a lot of also controversy behind this movie. Also was, of course, the idea of the Oscars. So a lot was talked about why not have Will Smith nominated for the because he was a very good character in this movie. Why wasn't this movie
I think Alec
nominated?
Baldwin got nominated.
He did.
Yes, I think he did.
Yes, he got nominated. And
But
then
not
the
Will
lead
Smith.
character, who's Will Smith, Dr. Omalu, and quite a good character in this movie, was never nominated. So that's why I've been seeing a lot of controversy behind even boycotting the Oscars as from some African Americans stars in the US.
Well, I don't know what they base on when they obviously have a criteria as to why they nominate these characters. So for sure we don't know why, because even in Creed, Michael B. Jordan did a very, very good job in that movie. Exactly. And we'll still never really get to understand.
You know, to make things clear on that thing, I'm pretty sure I'm going far beyond the bar, but I think some of the arguments that I've been getting is that the Oscars, most of the people that actually look at, voting the movies that come out and are watched is the old people. Yeah. That's the whole thing. That's what was part of the analysis that I go. It's that most of these old people look at certain movies that, and then the old kind of livelihoods of the Americans look at some kind of movies, and then you find that there's a white, that white gap that is over there than the rest of the minorities in the USA. Okay. It's again something that could be argued, but that's one of the reasons.
So they look for basically they look for a character who fits into every kind of category of people.
Exactly. So I don't know about that. It's something that we can argue on because it's
Maybe
becoming a very big
something
hit
we
in
need
the
to
Hollywood.
research on and talk about next time.
Okay.
But for this movie, I am really going to go and watch it next week.
All
All
right.
of us should go. You should go as well.
All right.
Anyways, now moving on to the cult classic. And moving on to a cult classic, we have 101 Dalmatians. Let's take a look at the trailer first.
Coming to theaters this Thanksgiving. One of Disney's all-time animated favorites comes to life. 101 Dalmatians, featuring 101 of the furriest and funniest stars you've ever seen. Versus the meanest, nastiest, and most outrageous Disney villain of all, Cruella de Vil.
Poison them, drown them, bash them on the head. I don't care how you kill the little beast, just do it, and do it now! Take it!
Walt Disney Pictures presents Glenn Close in an all-new live-action motion picture event. "101 Dalmatians."
A little bit about this movie is that the fashion designer Anita and computer game writer Roger, they meet, they fall in love, and then they marry, and they had 2 dogs, which are their Dalmatians, Perdita and Pongo. Now, these dogs, Anita had a boss called Cruella. Cruella kidnapped Anita's and Roger's puppies. The 2 dogs, they had the puppies. So she wants to take them so that she can make a coat that she's been dying to have. And because of the material, maybe she's into fur and all that kind of fabric. And then these dogs, they're so cute with a plain white and these black spots on. So she wanted to make that kind of coat. So she said, perfect, polka dot kind of. I think it's a snow coat or something like that. Yes. And then she's like, this is a perfect opportunity. So she steals them, and the movie is centered around the drama of trying to get the puppies back. And all these puppies, they had a lot of, I don't know if they're trained to have some IQ, they play tricks on her and the other bad guy that she was working with, and it's just a hilarious movie.
Yes, I really, really loved it. I watched it a very long time ago, but it was, as a child, you see such movies and you feel so attached to it. It's as if it's real life for you. So when I saw Cruella, I really did not like her at all. I needed her to be caught by the police, taken to jail, and never released. But it's really nice. It's a movie that everybody can watch, and I think it's something that we can sit down and remember the times when we watched it. And there's also an animated version of it, which is really nice also.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think this is one of best cult classic Walt Disney kind of movies that I ever saw. I think I first watched the animated version of it before watching the real movie. And for me, I think this is a great movie that people can go out for and bring out and bring the family time together. As a father or a mother, you go out and bring out the movie, sit next to the kids and watch out the movie. So it's one of the best, I think, Walt Disney productions I ever saw in the late 2000s?
Yeah,
early 2000s.
Early
So
2000s.
it's one of the movies that I saw. Of course, Lion King was, of course, topping it.
Of course,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah, I say that in a movie there is one lady who actually have something that she wants, and that material she wants is somewhere else, and the owner of the puppies says that no, I have to protect my puppies. And actually, Cruella, first, she came and offered to buy them, and they refused to sell. Now, what she decided to do was like, okay, if you don't give them by buying, then I'll have to steal them. And funny enough, the puppies themselves, they fought for their lives. And they actually played around her, and it was amazing. And for a child and the family to go and watch that movie is amazing. I enjoyed watching it, and I always enjoy watching it every time I have time to go back and watch it.
And I think the point is really why we have this cult classic is just to tell people to embrace what they used to like, or we bring this back to you, because this generation, we are moving so fast, especially the movie industry.
Yep.
So it might leave the kids with nothing to watch. So this is a nice one to recommend everybody. And maybe we should start a culture of just having one day in a month where you do a cult classic and play it for people who enjoyed it in their
I think we should also do like cult classic albums. We do people like Whitney Houston or something like that. You know, bring out the music, the love we used to feel in the 90s.
Right? Like we should be innovative about that. Anyway, do not go away. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, and it's that time for Hot Topics, and I just want us to get right to it. As you know, we always have something for you. And today, Eritrean men, I think you've had this, Eritrean men are being threatened with jail unless they marry more than one wife, which is what the report says. And a statement from the government say that it issued people of Eritrea ordering men to marry at least 2 wives due to acute shortage of men caused by enormous casualties suffered during the civil war with Ethiopia. In a statement written in Arabic, that the government gave the assurance that it will give financial support to the polygamous marriages. Now, a translation statement, because I want us to get this right, it is from the government. It said, and this is what it stated exactly, based on the law of God in polygamy, and given the circumstances in which the country is experiencing in terms of men's shortage, the Eritrean Department of Religious Affairs has decided on first, every man shall marry at least 2 women, and the man who refuses to marry shall be subjected to life imprisonment with hard labor. Now, the woman who tries to prevent her husband from marrying another wife shall be punished to life imprisonment. Now, one thing that we need to know is that in May 1998 to June, I think it was 2000, Eritrea had a war with Ethiopia.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that time, people who were a lot more victimized are men. And at the time, the population of Eritrea was only 4 million.
Oh.
And majority were men. So when they say they have a shortage in men, it's really true. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's why they've issued this law. But first, I think you've seen the way social media has been making fun of all these things, and
people going on a bus.
People going on a bus. Yes, Yvette, what do you think?
I think it's hilarious. I mean, mostly because people have made so many memes out of this, and they have like this matatu, especially in Kenya. They have this matatu bus, and then you have men like trying to get on it.
It is actually packed,
because it's going to Eritrea, and you know how African men are and how beautiful those Eritrean women are.
Yes.
So it's very interesting. I wonder if it's actually true.
It is true.
They've actually said it.
It is true, yeah. What I've just told you right now is a report by the government from the Religious Affairs. Yes. Ivan, now for guys, it is a celebration. I don't know, most of the guys that I tried to talk to and get their views, they were very much Ivan, what do you think?
Well,
don't try to hide your excitement, please. Let it out.
See,
God.
I'm so sorry for the women there. It's so bad that they're going to be now, like, at least every man is going to be having 2 wives or more than that. But of course, I don't know if I'm going to support this. But anyway, let's talk about this after the show. But the thing is, all in all, I think it's been a lot of drama. I just can't wait to see what happens. And of course, Eritrean women are so beautiful.
Very.
Very beautiful. I can't believe they don't have enough guys over there.
Do you want to go?
No, this is the moment when you want visa to Eritrea. So anyways.
Yeah.
For me, I think the next step government should do is to facilitate foreigners to enter Eritrea.
Moses is just... Is it government or is it you?
Because in the culture of this countries in the whole of Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, they don't really actually accept the marriage.
They don't like to intermarry.
Yeah, intermarriage from foreigners and their people. So they need to get out of that, because it's hard for, someone to be forced to have two women, and a wife to be forced to have, to see his husband going somewhere else.
Yes.
And it's hard emotionally. But if they can facilitate that, I'm pretty sure that women will have enough men. And they will not even have where to put the men. Because the Eritreans' wives are, they're amazing.
Amazing.
Sure, this is when you just tell, why didn't we have the region integration with instead of
directly to Eritrea?
So that because I think there should be a route dialect, and they facilitate the visas, because otherwise people will go to spend weekends.
Rwanda's next flight, Asmara.
I think Rwanda and Kenya Airways and all these other airlines are just going to be saying that their trips
Rwanda in particular, have that direct flight.
Yes.
Kigali to Asmara direct.
All right, this is really a wide conversation. We can have it for hours and hours. But anyway, let's just leave it to our viewers and tell us what you know. For now, do not go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. And like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports we do. Finally, find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We'd love to see your pictures, or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website, www.riseandshinerwanda.com. Well, that is all the time we have for you today. We'd love to hear your feedback, especially on what we've been talking about on the African culture and also the Eritrean situation. But for now, you have been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Yvette Shumbusho.
And me, Ivan Magwenya. We'll be at same time, same place tomorrow. Do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a very good day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.